Just when you think all the mysteries of the British car world are solved, another one comes up, even bigger than before. This time with a twist: the Russian government, illegal smuggling, and brand new Rovers. You may remember in my last video we talked about some incredible abandoned Rovers in Shanghai customs. These cars were seemingly left unclaimed. But what if I told you there was something even more mysterious? 11 brand new Rovers smuggled across a border and seized in part of an international criminal investigation. Another incredible find has been brought to light, another Rover mystery with a twist. These cars' whereabouts are confirmed, and as of right now, this treasure trove of brand new Rover 75s exist in storage in a barn, amounting to what could be one of the greatest British barn finds ever: 25-year-old brand new cars. Join me in this video as we uncover the greatest British barn find of this year and how these amazing brand new cars ended up where they are today. These are the Russian Rover 75s, an international car smuggling campaign, or a simple misunderstanding. Hello everybody and welcome to this video on what could be the greatest find ever. If you're not subscribed already, please make sure to do so. It really does help me out and you get to see more of this. More history videos, more cars and classics uncovered, and more projects. This video is on a Rover mystery, and let me know your opinion on this in the comments. Like the video if you liked it and share if you want other people to see it. But without further delay, let's get into what is one of the greatest Rover barn finds ever: the brand new Rover 75s of St. Petersburg. First, we need a bit of background. Rover in the 2000s was an interesting place to say the least. After the unceremonious offloading by BMW, MG Rover Group would be formed by the new owners of Rover and its related marques by the Phoenix Consortium in 2000. MG Rover was still selling all over the world. MG Rover dealerships and the 75, its flagship, were all over Europe. In fact, in 2002, MG Rover had opened a showroom with its only authorised importer, O Major Auto, in St. Petersburg, Russia. The plans for MG Rover were to expand into a further 10 locations across Western Russia. Rover 75s would appear in Russia in around 2000 in limited numbers, imported from the UK via O Major Auto. These cars would steadily be imported into Russia over the next few years, despite MG Rover lurching from crisis to crisis back home. And this is when the mystery of our cars start. A Finnish company purchased these 2000 model Rover 75s from an unknown source, probably from an MG Rover distributor or MG Rover themselves, but this is largely undocumented, adding another layer of mystery to these amazing cars. It was decided these would be exported to Russia on April 24th, 2003. 11 cars were sent over, wholesale, on a Mercedes 814 truck. A representative would be sent over to accompany the cars as well. Miss Ivanova, a citizen of Russia, who was by the looks of things responsible for the cars in transit, signing all of the customs documents and declaring the cars at the customs post. Everything appeared to be in order. An amount in euros was with the cars ready to pay the import duty. The documents though were pre-filled in, with Miss Ivanova signing them. But there was a problem. Miss Ivanova hadn't checked or been in contact with the people who sent her with the cars, or filled out the documentation she signed. She had dealt with a proxy. This would become apparent to the authorities on further inspection of the cars and the documents. And this really is when things would start to go sideways. The cars would be seized by the authorities. It turned out all of these documents that hadn't been checked had been forged. The cars were, according to the court documents, being smuggled across the border, and Miss Ivanova was completely unaware of the crime according to her testimony. And on the 6th of September that year, a criminal case was opened by the authorities against the unknown importers of the Rovers. The cars themselves weren't registered in Finland either, so the cars at this point were essentially ownerless, and with a crime now committed by whoever had sent them, they were now in limbo until the authorities got their man. But sadly, by 2010, the statute of limitations would expire, and with both the exporter and the recipient not claiming the cars, they would be transferred the next year into safe storage. With a date set for the 14th of March 2011, No one would come forward for the cars. Miss Ivanova was identified as the only interested party, but she failed to show up for the court date. Therefore, with no representatives or recipients, nobody interested in the cars, they were officially deemed property of the Russian Federation. So what models were these cars that were being mysteriously smuggled in? By the looks of things, these cars are all Cowley Rover 75s and are all left-hand drive. 6 in green, 1 in Wedgwood blue, 2 in dark blue and 2 in starlight silver. All of these cars are petrol, ranging from the 1.8 litre K series to the 2 litre KV6. The dashboards are full wood. All have the distinctive features of the pre-project drive cars, which perfectly dates them to around 2000, before the scheme started, making them some of the most desirable and collectible Rover 75s on the planet. The cars are all brand new with their seat covers still on, some even with markings from the importer, with all their original documentation. After they were seized, they would vanish, sitting into storage for a few months, until the cars would then get a new owner, after being transferred from the Russian government to an unidentified person. These cars would be advertised in bulk, with all 11 cars available to purchase for $100,000. These cars would be stored in St. Petersburg, but there was a caveat. They could only be sold together, not split off and sold separately. At the time, the 75 wasn't quite in vogue like it is now. It wasn't quite a classic or retro car. With MG Rover long gone and the cars being advertised mostly via word of mouth, it would complicate things a bit. The existence of these cars would attract a lot of attention in Russia. A group of people would get together to buy the cars in bulk and split them off, with the local police even interested in 5 to 6 cars. Many enthusiasts would get together, but ultimately the deal would fall apart. One of the main things noted by the enthusiasts at the time was how mysterious these cars were. They seemingly popped up out of nowhere, with the only evidence of how they got to Russia being the court documents that are heavily redacted, with no other records available. After this, they would fade into obscurity once again, with mostly only the Russian Rover 75 Club and Rover Club knowing about these cars. Until they were found for sale again at autodrom.ru, a Russian car buying website. They appear to have moved to a barn and been left for many years, with them now appearing in late 2024. And this time with some more detailed photos, showing interiors with covers still on, service packs and service wallets still in their original plastic wrapping, carpets dusty but virtually unmarked. All of the cars are covered in an incredibly thick layer of dust. They have been sat for years, with tyres deflating and the dust around the cars showing they haven't been touched. They are now for sale again at the exact same price. To the right of one of the cars there is even a pallet full of accessories and brand new mats. It would appear everything that you needed for a brand new Rover 75 is sat in this barn. Most of the cars are automatic and look to be a mix of Club and Club SE models. On the advert, it states they are still not registered and have never been driven. They are still considered ownerless, meaning they could be the newest Rover 75s to exist today, in perfectly preserved condition, all in a storage facility in St. Petersburg, a treasure trove of British cars thousands of miles away from home, waiting to be uncovered and explored. This is one of the most amazing finds ever, and thank you to the Russian Rover Club for pointing these out. While this may just look like a bunch of dusty old Rovers, these 11 cars and their accessories that they come with are the closest we will ever get to brand new Rover cars in 2025. These cars look to be very late off the line Cowley cars as well, with the black sills, so that makes them even more desirable and even more incredible. It is remarkable that they have survived so long. After all, they were seized as part of a criminal investigation and are now ownerless. The Russian government could have simply crushed the cars, but they didn't. And here they are today, perfectly preserved, at the point of shipment. Finds like these are once in a lifetime, especially with them being Rovers. Amidst all the excitement, there is another problem. With the sanctions in place on Russia, it's near impossible to get them out of the country. So enthusiasts of Rovers in Russia will probably need to club together to save these magnificent cars in one of the most incredible finds in Rover barn find history. At the moment, I'm in contact with several people in Russia to see what can be done and what's happening with these cars, and who knows, if there's a will, there's a way. With another Rover mystery uncovered, it's clear that the great iceberg of British motoring history still has more to give in the way of mystery and intrigue, and we've just dipped below the waterline to discover some of the greatest Rover barn finds ever. What is your opinion on these cars, and do you have any more information? Or any other discoveries you'd like to share? Let me know in the comments below or via my Instagram. Hopefully these cars will find new owners after surviving for 22 years in some of the most extraordinary circumstances I've ever seen. It would be a shame for them to fade into obscurity and be destroyed. Who knows, you can still fly to Russia, just not directly. I have the will and there is a way, so if the owner's watching this, or anybody who can facilitate it, let me know via Instagram or via my email, which is below. And with that, it's the end of the video. As always, thank you for watching, keep watching, and remember to subscribe for more of this, and I'll see you in the next one.